Have you ever felt it, that quiet, that space that just starts to grow between you and your child? A silence that feels so much heavier than just a lack of words. It's a really painful feeling, right? It's like a little alarm bell going off, telling you that the connection you cherish, well, it might be in trouble. But here's the good news. It's not a lost cause. Not at all. Together, let's explore how we can bridge that gap and get back to a place of trust. It often starts so subtly you barely notice it. Those car rides home from school, they become silent. The chats you used to have after dinner, they get shorter and shorter. And then you start to realize, slowly at first, that the door to their inner world, which used to be wide open for you, has started to creak shut. And then the pattern just becomes undeniable. They don't share the little things anymore, the good stuff or the struggles from their day. They don't ask for your advice like they used to. They just don't tell you what's really on their mind. The communication that once flowed so easily has, well, it's pretty much trickled to a halt. Now, your first instinct, and believe me, this is so common, is to see it as an authority thing. You think, he's just not listening to me anymore. He's pulling away. He's being defiant. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it entirely? What if this has nothing to do with obedience at all? So this brings us to what's really going on, the core problem. Let's just call it the closed door. And if we want to open it, we first have to understand why it got closed in the first place. Okay, and this right here, this is the huge mental shift we need to make. We feel like they've stopped listening, but the deeper reality is that they've stopped trusting. See the difference? This isn't about defiance. It's about a loss of emotional safety. So if the problem is really about lost trust, then the next question we have to tackle is, well, how did it get lost? Let's dig into the cause. And this is the question, isn't it? The one we have to ask ourselves, really honestly, without judging ourselves, just what happened? Why did they stop feeling safe enough to be vulnerable with us? What we've learned is that trust rarely breaks in one big, dramatic moment. It usually erodes little by little through all these small interactions. Think about it. A child comes to you, their heart wide open. But if that vulnerability is met with this need to control the situation, or with the pointing finger of reproach and blame, or maybe the worst of all, just simple indifference, well, they learn. They learn that opening their heart isn't safe anymore. Now look, I know this might sound a bit disheartening, but please hear this next part because it is absolutely the most important message of all. This is not permanent. There is so much hope. Just let that sink in for a minute. No matter how wide that distance feels right now, that bond can be restored. The connection can be returned. It is not broken forever. Okay, so how do we actually do it? How do we start rebuilding? Well, there's a pretty clear path forward, a practical guide with 3 really essential steps to get back in contact. The path back starts with attention. And I mean real, undivided, put the phone down, turn the screen off focus. Then, from that place of attention, we use our words, not to advise, not to judge, but just to acknowledge what they're feeling, with empathy. And finally, we offer our presence, the simple, powerful choice to just be there, to sit with them in their silence, being a quiet anchor, even when you have no idea what to say. And this all leads us to the final, really crucial shift in how we see things. We so often think parenting is about managing things, controlling outcomes, but the real goal is something totally different. It's about finding the inner strength to be a calm, steady presence for our kids, especially when they are at their weakest and most confused. So, it all comes down to this one question. As you go about your day, just ask yourself, in those tough moments, am I reaching for control, or am I trying to build the strength to just be present? The choice you make right there, in that moment, that could change everything.